who's still here.
Oh, hi, Nicole. How are you?
I thought you and Draper would be well on your way back to that beautiful new home of yours by now.
Yeah, I'm afraid so did Draper.
Margot is really keeping you busy.
Yeah, well, I'm still learning the ropes. I figure with a couple weeks' experience, these chores will take about half the time.
You wouldn't happen to know where I can find her, do you?
As a matter of fact, I do. She was absolutely exhausted, and I practically had to force her out of the studio. If you want to reach her, I'm sure she's home by now.
No, it's not really urgent. Both of you have been working above and beyond the call getting ready for this broadcasters convention.
Yeah, well, Margot has asked me to write a summary of this demographics report. Well, 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know what demographics were, and now I'm supposed to be able to analyze them.
You certainly come to this job with the right attitude. You're doing a wonderful job.
Really? Thanks.
Listen, April, I know how much you want to prove that you belong. I felt the same way when I came to WMON. But it's not necessary to overwork yourself.
Oh, Nicole, I don't mind it, really.
Huh. Okay, just keep in mind it's the quality and not the quantity.
Thank
Your
you.
work that counts.
Thank you. Speaking of quantity, I was hoping to make a dent in that correspondence before I went home. I don't know.
You're impossible. How does Draper feel about you putting in these hours?
Well, he certainly is not crazy about the idea, but I believe, given some time, he'll accept the fact that I have responsibilities too now.
Well, just don't go overboard. Heard of many marriages in this industry going sour because one partner decided to make the studio their second home.
Yeah, but Draper and I will be fine. Listen, Nicole, it's not that I don't want to spend time with Draper, don't get me wrong. It's just that I really do love being here. I don't consider any of this work at all.
I think the newness of your career has something to do with your enthusiasm. It's a great business.
Yep, and it's a great boss, gotta admit that.
Margot treats us all very well.
Nicole, Margot has opened up a whole new life for me, and I just want to be sure that I can please her as much as she's pleased me.
Margot likes to do nice things for people. Well, as a matter of fact, she made me a very nice offer just a little while ago.
Oh, what was that?
A free weekend at Palace Park.
You're kidding.
Oh, she had some reservations that she can't use, and they're already paid in advance.
That's terrific. Well, you're going to take it, aren't you?
I might. Depends on Miles.
Uh-huh. I see. How about a cup of coffee?
All right.
Oh, black?
Yes, please.
You know, bothers me when I think that sometimes people who are so kind can be taken advantage of.
What?
Oh, I didn't mean you.
What did you mean?
Nothing. Nothing.
You don't look too happy, Mr. Dorn.
I have a rather perplexing problem, Mickey.
Well, I listen to all our customers' problems. There's no reason the boss can't bend my ear. If he has a mind to, that is.
Yeah, I suppose I'm too close to the situation to really find a solution. Put yourself in my shoes for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
But before we go on, I must swear you to absolute secrecy.
The bartender never tells.
Mickey, supposing you were in a most unsatisfactory relationship, and you wished to extricate yourself from it, how would you go about it?
Tell the person to take a walk.
It's not that simple. Yet I have to get this person out of my life permanently.
What do you mean by permanently?
I just never want to see his face again, Mickey.
You're not talking about doing anything drastic, are you?
Just what do you mean by drastic?
Do I know the party that you're talking about?
You most certainly do, Mickey.
Look, I hope I'm not out of line, but did you and Mrs. Dorn have a little fight, or?
No, Mickey, it's not Mrs. Dorn. The person I'm talking about is right here in the Unicorn. Antoine. I despise that little fat man, Mickey.
I should have guessed that.
But I just want him to be away from the Unicorn. Nothing more, I can assure you.
Just give him his walking papers.
See, Mrs. Dawn wouldn't take kindly to his dismissal. And I wouldn't want Antoine to be a source of friction between me and my wife.
Well, it looks to me like you're stuck.
If only I could get Antoine to leave of his own accord.
Well, have you told him yet that I'm taking over when you go away for the weekend?
Not yet. I want him to be far away from his kitchen knives when I say that.
Well, you know, he's always thought of himself as second in command here. When he hears about this demotion, he might get sore enough to quit.
One can only hope, Mickey.
You know, I'm not crazy about the little fat man myself. He's a real pain in the neck, but we may just have to learn to grin and bear him.
Oh, some very distinguished guests have just arrived. Now to perform a duty that makes this job worthwhile. Mickey, not a word. Well, what an honor to say that the esteemed district attorney and his lovely wife frequent my little place.
The pleasure is ours.
But I've noticed your name was scratched off our reservations list a few times, Mr.
No
Swift.
reflection on the unicorn, I can assure you.
I am convinced that my husband works harder than anyone in Mayor Finley's administration.
Yes, I know he's had a few major cases back to back.
You better believe it, and he works so late sometimes. I think if I were a jealous wife, I might be a little suspicious.
Oh, with a wife as lovely as Mr. Swift has, he will give no cause for jealousy.
Thank you.
Anyhow, I'm sorry if those last-minute cancellations caused you any problem.
Oh, not at all. We are quite happy to take care of your wife at dinner. You just let us know.
Well, that's very kind. Perhaps you could look after our little boy, too. We have a son, you know.
Oh, yes, I know. Although I haven't heard much of him.
Well, he's just a little boy. There's nothing much to say. Why don't you join us, please?
Sure, thank you. Well, I like children myself. I love them. But unfortunately, we do not have facilities for them at the Unicorn.
Oh, sounds like Palace Park.
Did you say Palace Park?
Yes, we're going there this weekend.
Oh, really?
Hi, can I get you a drink? Yes, I would like a very dry martini.
Scotch, rocks?
What a coincidence. So am I.
You're kidding. Well, that's wonderful. What a small world.
It's also a very small resort, which means we'll be running into each other very often.
Well, perhaps 4 of us could have dinner sometime.
I'm afraid that wouldn't be possible. You see, Margot is not accompanying me.
Oh.
No, she had to go to this broadcasters convention in Center City. Well, I saw no point in staying in the apartment looking at the 4 walls, so I decided to give myself a much-needed rest.
Please, please, spend some time with us. I mean, we could take the opportunity to get to know each other better.
Perhaps you and I could play a round of golf together.
Golf is not my game, Mr. Swift.
No, I don't know why we're making all these plans, because as soon as the day comes and we're at the door, you're going to get a phone call, you're going to have to go to the office, and you know this whole thing will be put off.
I'm going to do my best not to disappoint you. As far as I'm concerned, the weekend is on.
Excuse me. I wish you enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Mr. Dorn. When you have a minute to talk, let me know. I think I figured out a way to get rid of Mr. Antoine.